gonna start with our special guest. This man is known all over the world. He's been in movies, he's been in plays, he wrote books. He's a great bowler too. And if you know anything about the blues, you have to know this man. He was once known as Hytower. Now he's known as the Rhute Doctor. So we have the Rhute Doctor on the guitar, y'all, this morning.
Peace, and blessings. I definitely want to welcome you all back to another great interview. You already know my name, celebrity interviewer. I said it, and this is the show. And you know, I have my special celebrity guest tonight, and this man he's famous. You know what I mean? He's a legend, a pioneer when it comes to blues. He's been in this game for a long time. He's opened the door for a lot of people. He's wrote a lot of songs. He's done a lot of things, and man, I got a lot of questions for him too. You already know. And he goes by the name of Dr. Rhute. Peace. How you doing, sir?
Oh, everything's great, Michael. Thank you for inviting me to the show. It's gonna be a pleasure.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I already look forward to it, man. I like your the guitar set up in the background and everything.
Oh, okay.
Look like you're ready to do something.
Yeah, it's my daughter's studio. We have fun up in here.
Right. Look like you be making some history up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Man.
So if I can, I definitely want to remind you all again, this is Celebrity Interviewer, I Said It, the show. And this is sponsored by the famous Chicago Bridge magazine. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in right now. You know, please share this video wherever you're watching in the world from. You know, shout out to all of my people all over the world. So I'm gonna ask you the first question, Mr. Hytower.
Yeah.
Could you talk about, Chicago,
Okay.
where you I'm sorry.
And let me say this. Legally, it's Dr. Rhute music now. The Hytower's gone.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah. I still got a lot of
Okay.
fans call me Hytower, you know. Yeah.
Right. Okay, well, let's go ahead and start there then. You know what I mean? That'd be a good place to start. Why did you change your name from Roy Hightower to Dr. Rhute?
Okay. Yeah. Well, Roy Hytower, it didn't reflect my ancestry. You know, that was the main reason. And so my etymology and cognizance of how I put it together, I kind of like the principles of Kwanzaa. So my father was a herb doctor, was a root doctor. So
Right.
Kwanzaa has 7 principles. And on my father's side, I'm the 7th child. So that's why I spell D-O-K. The K is because of Kwanzaa. So that's the first name. My middle name is Rhute because I only eat plants, but I spell it R-H-U-T-E because R-H is my father's initials, Reuben Hightower. Now my last name, Music, is a combination of Kahumba and music. Kahumba because that's the 6th principle of Kwanzaa, and on my mother's side, I'm the 6th child. So there you got it, Dr. Rhute Music.
Wow, that's amazing. I like how you put so much detail and description and thought behind your name, you know what I mean, and how you still, even with the RH, you know what I mean, that still represents the basically like the old representation of you, or title, I should say.
Right, that's my father's initial, you know.
Right.
So exactly. So when you say my name, it has meaning, and you're also saying me. See, yeah. Because when you ask me, well, what is Roy Hightower? That was no definition other than my parents just gave me that, but they gave it to me because that was the best they knew, you know.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so let's get into I know you're a native of Chicago, you know what I mean? Can you talk about what side of town you grew up on, and what was your influence in music at an early age?
Okay, well, I came to Chicago in 1961, but I'm an Alabama boy, born in a little place called Coffeeville.
Right,
And
okay.
yeah, And so after my father made his transition, passed away, my mom moved us to Mobile, Alabama. So that's kind of where I grew up as a teenager. But I got started in music in Coffeyville. Some guy came to our school when I was about 8 years old playing the harmonica. When I heard that harmonica, he was a blues harmonica player. And from that day forward, I knew I was going to be a musician. And I got into the guitar about a couple of years later. A schoolmate of mine named Robert Pace, I got my first real guitar from him. I traded my brand new bike for that guitar. Didn't have but 3 strings on it, you know. But that's how much I love.
I'm sorry. How old are we? How old are we talking when you received that first guitar?
I was about 10 at that point.
Okay.
And so, 10 years old. Yeah, about 10. And so I would practice and practice the guitar on my own. I would read books. Of course, I was taking music, but I started out as a saxophone player. So I knew music theory. So I taught myself quite a bit about the guitar. So when I moved to Mobile is where I really got my chops together, because there was a lot of musicians in Mobile. You know, people like Fred Wesley, Jabo. So Fred Wesley wound up playing for James Brown. He was a trombone player for James Brown. And Jabo was the drummer. He started playing, well, he left Mobile with Bobby Blue Bland playing drums. He got with James Brown about 2 years later. But before that, we had a group called the Castanets. I was about 15 at that point. Okay. And we would share just about every day in somebody's backyard. We would run an extension cord out the back door, and we would hook up the amplifiers, and we would play till our parents was about to run us out away with that noise. We go to somebody else's backyard and hook up. And we did that until, like I say, the group was called the Castanets. After they broke up, then I started doing opening engagements at a club called the Harlem Duke Social Club. And that was a guy named Tom Couch. He was a promoter. And he promoted a lot of acts like James Brown, Ray Charles, Fats Domino. And he was a friend of my family. And even at that early age, 15, he would let me come in and open up shows for Ray Charles, Fats Domino. So that's how I really got my chops together. And I did that up until I was about 18 or 19. And then I came to Kentucky and spent a year, then to Chicago.
Okay.
And go ahead.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. You make that sound like so, simple. With all due respect, like after you broke off with the group and you was on your own, what still gave you that confidence to say, hey, I can do this by myself without the group? Because you're used to the group. You used to having these people around you, this band. And then for you to go out on your own and be opening for Ray Charles and people with these names and headliners, like at 15, 16 years old, it's insane. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where did that come from?
So actually, before I got with the Castanets, before I got with the group, because Jabo then was about 5, 6, 7 years older than me. So, but before I got with them, I did a lot of solo stuff at house parties. And I had an older brother that loved my way of playing. And he would always tell me, come on, Roy, get your guitar. We're going to go over here into this party, And I was kind of nervous, but that's how I really got my chops together as a solo act, playing acoustic gigs. My brother would take me to different places. He would have people from his job where he worked. He would tell them about me. He said, I got a brother that plays guitar and he can play this and woo, woo. And he would take me around and show me off. So when I got with the group, I was kind of seasoned a little bit, And then after I got with Jabo now, we played a lot of hip gigs. And that's where I kind of got my stage presence together. So when Tom Couch heard me, he said, yeah, that boy, that's pretty good. So I'm going to put him on stage and let him play a little bit with some of the acts I got coming in. So I was pretty well on my way by the time I was opening up. That would let me do maybe, because Tom Couch would tell some of the groups, be like Ike and Tina, the Five Royals. He said, look, I got this kid here. You to put him on stage and let him do a number. you know. And so
Right.
I was pretty well on my way by that time.
Hey, that's great. That's just greatness. You know what I mean? It seemed like you was a natural.
Yeah.
So you was like a phenom, a young
Yeah.
phenom. So you've been doing this for a long time to where it was like it just really came natural. Why do you think I'm sorry about all that. I have to try to get some more light. Why do you think that it was so easy for you to adapt?
Well, you know, like I said, when I started in Coffeyville, I always wanted to play, and I knew then that music was going to be what I was going to do the rest of my life. That's how it affected me. And I wouldn't let anything stop me because there was a lot of things. Sometimes people would put the roadblocks in the way, like, uh, what you gonna do for a real job? And say
Right.
you can't do that all your life and blue, wah, wah, woo, 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 and all of that. And you should be playing church music. Stop playing that devil music. But I made up in my mind, hey, I love this kind of music. I was listening to people in my early stage, people like uh, Muddy Waters, Holland Wolf, James Brown. I was listening to those guys, and that's what I wanted to do. And I could see that they was making a living at it. Why can't I? You know. And so I just had that. That was my inspiration, and I just didn't let anything. I guess I was kind of born with that kind of inspiration to not let something stop me, especially something I really wanted to do. And I was good at it. I knew I was good at it. And I knew I could get better because I played every day. I'd pick up my guitar and play. And sometimes I remember, now my mom bought me my first electric guitar. And we was
Okay.
walking downtown Mobile one day. And I stopped at this music store. And they had a Gibson Les Paul Special in the window. And I stopped there and I was looking at it. And my mom had gone way on down the street. When she stopped and turned around, she came back. She said, "You love that guitar, don't you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am."
Mm-hmm.
So she said, "Okay." So about a couple of years later, she helped me get it. You know, she said, "I'm gonna help you get it. I'm gonna put the down payment on it, but you're gonna have to make the rest of the payments." You know. So all of that happened in Mobile. I grew up around, and in Mobile there was a lot of other musicians. So we had a lot of competition, and that makes you
Right.
better. You know, all those guys. I mean, Mobile was a musician and a baseball town. You know, that's where Hank Aaron came from. You know.
Oh, okay, okay.
hmm And
That's
so when I came to Chicago, I had a nephew because when I left Mobile, I came to Kentucky and stayed a year. So my nephew, I had a brother that lived in Kentucky. So his son, which is my nephew, lived in Chicago. So he suggested, he said, "Uncle Roy," I said, "why don't you come to Chicago? There's a lot of blues venues and Muddy Water and them play down the street at a place called Pepper's Lounge and so
yeah.
forth." And so I came on to Chicago and I was staying with my aunt, and she was a barmaid at Pepper's. So she took me down there one Tuesday, you know, and I went down there to listen to the guys play. And so I went back the next time I went, I think on a Wednesday night. This had to be like around 1962, 63. And so they called me up. They had like people come up and jam set in. And I told them I was a musician from Alabama. And so they called me up. So this guy heard me play. His name was Mighty Joe Young. And he
Right.
played with a blues legend called Otis Rush. So he told me, he said, "Look," he said, "I like the way you play, man." He said, "I play with Otis Rush." He said, "I'm getting ready to leave and get my own group together." So why don't you come down here on Tuesday night? Because we play on Tuesday. I want Otis Rush to hear you. Maybe you can replace me. And so that's how I got my first real blues gig with Otis Rush. I went out on that Tuesday and he introduced me to Otis Rush. He called me up and he offered me the gig that night. So we would play at Pepper's on Tuesdays, and we played a place called the Castle Rock on Fridays and Saturdays, which was on West Roosevelt Road. And during
Okay.
that time, Muddy Waters played at Pepper's on Fridays. Harlan Wolf was there on Saturday, and we was there with Otis Rush on Tuesday nights.
Man, hey,
Yeah.
you had me back in like 1969, 1970s. Like, man, I'm like reliving everything like with you. I'm like into the story, man. I'm like, Dad, why you stop? No, really don't, man. No, so that's really cool, man. You know what I mean? What an upbringing, you know what I mean, to be able to have shared the stage with, you know, someone that's like a household name, like a Muddy Waters, you know what I mean? And actually, you know, you should actually be a household name. And we hopefully, you know, more people will know you after this interview, like they should, because you know you are definitely, like I say, a pioneer.
Right.
When it comes to that,
It's a pleasure being here.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, I say it's a pleasure being here on your show. I'm
Oh yeah,
enjoying it.
man. Oh man, definitely. It's all love to have you here, man. You know what I mean? Going into 2021, you know what I mean? Right there in
Yeah.
the new year.
Yeah.
So
So what I can just add, after I was here, after I did 3 years with Otis, and then I would start doing freelance gigs around, and I joined a group in Gary, Indiana called Leon Blojo Evans. And so I got a little training there because 2 of the guys, the bass player, Frank Jones, and the drummer, Carl Scott, they played with Count Basie. And they had retired and came back to Gary, Indiana. That's what their hometown. So by me playing with Blojo Evans, and they were just playing with Blojo as a hobby, because they had retired from you know, from playing with some of the big names, you know. And they taught me a lot about music and about music theory, you know. So I learned a lot from that. And so I got drafted from Gary, Indiana. I got drafted in the Army, went to Fort Leonard Wood, took my basic training, then went to Fort Ord. Then they sent me to Vietnam. So I did a Vietnam tour.
wow.
And after I finished that and came back, I decided to put my own group together. Came back to Chicago, you know. So we put a group together called Roy Hytower and the Crowd Please.
I
We were
like
doing
that.
a lot of gigs. We were doing a lot of gigs for the military, you know, the Air Force.
Right.
And yeah.
But so if I may ask, after serving in Vietnam and doing, you know, a stint like that in the military, you know, how was you different when you came as a musician and an artist? How do you think that you changed after going to Vietnam and seeing and experience what you did?
Right. Yeah. It changed me quite a bit. Uh, I did a lot of growing up, and actually, my whole outfit got wiped out. I'm the only one survived out of my outfit, out of my platoon. You know,
Wow.
which was 52 guys. You know, and
52 out of you survived out of 52 people, a whole what?
in my platoon, that's like 52 soldiers in a platoon. And
Yeah,
so,
and you only one to survive.
right. And in my company, that's 4 platoon, you know. And then we had went on an operation. This operation was called Crazy Horse. And
Okay.
we lost a lot of men. But what happened, this was at the end of my tour. I was getting ready to come back to the United States. And it was a funny thing about what was happening in Vietnam for the black soldiers. It's like they had a thing called getting short. When you get down to 30 days left on your tour, they would send you back to the real area where it was safe so you could process coming back to the United States. But most of the black guys, they would keep them on the front line till they had like 2 or 3 days left. The white guys, when they get on 30, 40 days, they would send them back to process to the safe area. So so they would always tell me when the helicopter would come out on the front line to bring hot chow or something or bring supplies, and they would always tell me, well, your orders didn't come down yet. That's why I said we got to wait for your orders to come down. So I was out there, had 3 days left. So finally my orders came down, and we was getting ready to go on operation. And I told my squad leader, Sergeant Rand, we got to Vietnam the same day. I met him in Saigon. He was coming from Germany. I was coming from the United States. And just so happened we got signed to the same outfit and he became my squad leader. So they went on that operation that morning. I got on the helicopter, came back to the Red area, and about 5 o'clock that evening, we got the word that my outfit got hit. And so that next morning, we found out that my platoon got wiped out.
Mm.
And so, yeah, so then when I came back, I had PTSD, but I didn't know I had PTSD. All I knew is that when they would on holidays, when they would find out firecrackers, I was jumpy. I'd wake up some morning thinking I was still in the war. So it took about 5 years to get over that, Mm. Yeah.
Wow.
So I eventually got myself together, got back with my group, got my group together, and I met a guy named Jimmy Tillman. Jimmy Tillman was Willie Dixon's band leader. And I don't know if Jimmy Tillman is Dorothy Tillman, her. Alderman Dorothy Tillman. Yeah, Jimmy Tillman. Well, he's a drummer. So he was Willie Dixon band leader. And so he had wrote a documentary for the school kids. And he took this documentary to Jackie Taylor at the Black Ensemble Theater because he wanted to get some ideas how to present it to the school kids. So she said, why don't you do Muddy Waters' story in live theater? So he called me, Jimmy Tillman called me, and he wanted me to audition for the Muddy Waters part. Okay. And he called me and asked me, had I done any acting? So I said, yeah, man, I'm acting all my life. Anytime I'm on stage, I'm acting. But I had never done theater or anything. So eventually he convinced me to come out and audition. So I got the part to do Muddy Waters live story at the Black Ensemble Theater. So and that was successful. It ran for 18 months to sell out audience. And after that, I did I did Jimmy Reed, I did Gerald Butler, did quite a few musicals. And so, and from that is how I got into movies. A casting director came to the theater, saw some of my work, and one of the members, one of the actors asked me, did I know Jane Alderman, who's a casting director? And I didn't know anything about her. So she suggested you should go out and meet her because she's asking about you. And she's one of the largest casting directors in the Midwest. So I went out and met her, and she told me she liked my work, and if something come along, she could use me, and she'd give me a call. So about 6 months later, I got a call, and she put me in Poltergeist 3, MGM. So that was my first feature film.
Mm.
So after Poltergeist 3, then I did U.S. Marshal, Wesley Snipes, Tommy Lee Jones. I did Family Thing with James Earl Jones and Robert Duvall. Yeah, did some stuff with Steve Martin. Quite a few things. I did the Babe Ruth story with John Goodman. So that's how I got into the acting part. So,
man, that's amazing. If I may, I'm sorry if I could take a small time out, and I want to show a little footage from, and pictures from what you're referring to right now. So as example, this is a picture of you and Robert Duvall. What was the name of that movie again?
Okay, that was Family Thing with Robert Duvall and James Earl Jones. And Robert Duvall, he come to Chicago looking for his brother, and his brother was black. They both they had the same father but different mothers. So Robert Duvall, he had heard people talking about he had a black brother, so he came to Chicago looking for him, who was Robert Duvall, who was James Earl Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I got into that movie with Robert Duvall and James Earl Jones.
Okay, here, this is a little clip that I found on your Instagram.
Sorry, I can't go in there close to here. I'm supposed to get this one to arraignment. Gonna be at least 20 more minutes. Some mob guy in there. Have a seat. Listen, pal. Stay right there. Do not move. Get me?
As soon as you walk away,
that was Novocaine. Yeah, a movie called Novocaine. So yeah,
right.
that's what
I
I was
remember that
saying.
movie too, man.
Huh?
I remember all these movies. I remember all of these movies that you're referring to that you played in. It's just, you know, I
Oh,
never knew that in 2020 I would be sitting somewhat in the same studio as you.
oh, yeah. All right, very good, very good.
Yeah, man, you worked, but how's it feel though to, you know, have you know, not only being a blues legend, but you know, now, you know, you also, you know, you become a legend in Hollywood.
Right.
On the
Yeah,
big screen
it's
because
cool.
you played right next to some huge name people. Everyone you named, I mean, Wesley Snipes, James Earl Jones, Leslie Nielsen is right. Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, yeah. Oprah Winfrey, Bruce
Right,
the Play.
exactly. Oprah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool. You know.
let's talk about the Brewster's Place.
Yeah, well, Bruce the Plays, when I was in the third episode, it ran for 8 weeks. It not the movie Bruce the Plays, but the TV series. So I was in
Right,
the third episode, and I was a big time spender passing through town. So I stopped at Oprah's restaurant, ordered some food. So this particular shoot, that particular day, Oprah was supposed to have a nervous breakdown in the restaurant, you know, that type of thing. So yeah, so we had fun doing that. And and so when I came in the restaurant, I ordered a slice of pecan pie.
right.
So we were sitting down eating the pecan pie. We took a break. So when we took a break, Oprah came over and she started eating the pie, right? So
Right.
I told her, I said, look, you just can't be eating up the prop. I said, she said, oh, we got to put the prop in the back. So bring some more pie out here. So we had a lot of fun, you know. Yeah.
That's
And
funny. How?
I did another stint with Oprah on Martin Luther King's birthday.
Okay.
With Stevie Wonder and with Stevie Wonder and Oprah at Medina. At that time, it was called Medina Temple, and they was having a big celebration for Martin Luther King. So Stevie was opening up the show, then Oprah was emceeing. So we did a little work together there. I was there promoting the Hoochie Coochie Man, Muddy Waters.
Right. Yeah, and that's a famous name too, the Oochie Coochie Man. I remember hearing that when I was a kid. I've heard that term. I've heard that like a whole lot. I was even telling one of my homegirls, you know what I'm saying? We were talking about it, man, and I'm just like, I'm about to interview the real Oochie Coochie Man.
Yeah, when I was in
where that term come from?
When I was in Copenhagen, you know, so people came up and they asked me, what is a Hoochie Coochie Man? You know, and I said, well, in the United States, in my hometown where I come from in the South part, that means you're a great lover. You know what I mean? Hoochie Coochie Man, great lover, man. Yeah.
Okay. So you had a lot of women around you growing up, huh?
Huh? Oh yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. So it's been a great trip, a lot of fun, you know. Yes, indeed. So I think at some point, you know, I got Big Mama here. If you want to, I'll do a live song or something. You know, I might get my daughter to tip in and sing a little bit along with me. A song I wrote about my hometown.
Okay, definitely. If we can, let's talk about a little bit about your family. How many children do you
have? Okay, I got 5 daughters and 1 son. And
okay, and
one big lovely family. And I got 1 daughter lives in Atlanta. She's a professor of the University of Atlanta. And the rest of my daughters live here in Chicago. You met one, the one that set up the studio here. And I got one that's going to Illinois University down in Urbana. And then I got a son that's in Alabama.
Okay, that's great. That's great. How many of them are into the music or have taken on the legacy?
Well, my daughter Treese, she's musically inclined, so she does a lot of music. The one that's in here with me now with the studio, all these guitars, she got a studio set up. So she plays a little guitar, she plays a little bass, keyboard, sings. She's a great rapper. Yeah.
Hey.
I'm gonna make her sing a little bit with me when I do this tune I wrote about my hometown.
Yeah, please. Be my guest.
Okay, so
Monica.
So here we go.
I'm gonna knock the harmonica out. You don't see too many people with the harmonica no more.
I'm going to Mobile, down on the Gulf of Mexico, while they drinking draft beer, y'all, and kick back in the fishing boat. I said, going to Mobile, come on, going to Mobile, I'm going to Mobile, going to Mobile. Well, you know that's my hometown. I'm going there to show it I live. Going through the Bankhead Tunnel, then the causeway, stopping on Paradise Beach where they party night and day. Going to Mobile, going to Mobile, going to Mobile. Well, you know that's my hometown. I'm going there to show it I live. One thing, people, I always wanted to do, grab me one of them Mobile girls and walk down through Hank Aaron Loop. Going to Mobile, I'm going to Mobile, going to Mobile. Well, you know that's my hometown. I'm going there to show it I live. Down on Dolphin Island where the dolphins play with the sharks. People fishing all day and then they fish fry after dark. Going to Mobile, going to Mobile, going to Mobile, yeah. Well, you know that's my hometown. I'm going there to show as I live. Going to Mobile, baby.
Right. Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. When we going to Mobile, man? I'm about it. I've never been to Alabama.
Really?
No, I ain't never been to Mobile. Hey, man, that was excellent. Great job. Excellent job. And thank you so much for blessing myself and our audience today, you know what I mean, with your greatness.
All right. All right.
Really
fun
appreciate that. And great job, Latrice. Great job, Latrice.
Thank you. Thank you.
I heard you too.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Rhute,
hey,
let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, was you about to play something else?
Huh?
I'm sorry, was you about to play something? I don't want to
No,
interrupt you.
no, go right ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, so what did it feel like to knowing that you was a voice when it come to music during the civil rights movement?
Oh, it was a great
Your,
feeling because I got a
your
chance
music.
to play with a lot of different organizations, you know, that was community activists such as that. I played a lot with Alderman Dorothy Tillman. As a matter of fact, when I did the Hoochie Coochie Man at the Black Ensemble Theater, our mayor, Harold Washington, came to see the play, and one of his favorite songs was Hoochie Coochie Man. So we did a lot of his fundraisers, you know,
Right.
and also he sent me to the Scandinavian countries to promote the taste of Chicago. That was back when he was the mayor. So I did a lot of work. I was promoting. I went to represent the mayor of Chicago back when Harold Washington was the mayor.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's too dope.
So I did a lot of and then I would do the coming on home to me blues festival with Dorothy Tillman right there on 47 and King Drive. She would set up a big stage out in the middle of the street, and we would have a lot of big acts, the Dales, Marshall and the Shylights, Johnny Taylor, Lou Rawls, Otis Clay. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of fun doing that.
Wow. Shout out to Marshall from the Shylights.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Hey man, that's just incredible. Yeah. Now, can you talk about these gentlemen right here?
Okay. Oh, well, let me see. The one that I really know is Walter Scott.
Okay.
Oh,
Which one is that?
Oh, no. This is when we was in Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got Michael Demonic on there. Michael Demonic, Freddie Dixon, and the guy that was leading the tour, we call him Moondog. He's an Australian. He's from Australia. So yeah, when we toured Australia, we did quite a few cities. We did Perth, Australia, which is one of the largest cities on the West Coast. We did Bridgetown Blues Festival. We did Albany Blues Festival. So we did about 5 different cities in Australia. Yeah, so that's who those guys was. We had a lot of fun doing that. Yeah, we was there a little over 2 weeks, and so as a matter of fact, in the city of Perth, I think it's about, I don't know about maybe this, I think about 300,000 or 400,000 people population. So this one club that we played, I happened to be there on November the 12th, which is my birthday. So we was on the stage, and I think this club hold about maybe 500 people. So we was on stage performing, so they stopped the music and they made a big speech and said, now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna present this gentleman and he's having his birthday. So they had made me a big birthday cake, stopped the music and gave me a big party right there on stage. That was really nice.
Hey man, that is really nice. They really care about you, really respect you, really love you, man.
Made me a vegan birthday cake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, how to my knowledge, my math may be off, but so you've been like a vegan for like 56 years or something like that?
Well, I've been a vegan for about 40, but then before that I was a vegetarian. Which vegetarians do eat a little like cheese and chicken, fish, most vegetarians. But once I turned vegan, then I consume no animal product, period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
So it's been great. You know, my vegan trip has been great, you know. Yeah.
How have your body changed when it comes to crossing over from being a vegetarian to all the way vegan?
Well, I feel better overall, you know, and little minor things that used to bother me really doesn't bother me anymore. You know, like little headaches sometimes. Sometimes you might have little stomach problems, but
Yeah.
I haven't had any of that. You know, so I feel good at the age of 78. Just made 78, so feel pretty good.
Well, happy belated birthday to you. Congratulations, man. And hey, you know, you're getting younger.
All right. Thank you very
You know, at
much.
some point it just turns back around and we just get younger again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Enjoying.
Just enjoying life, huh?
Just enjoying life and been
So
working. So also when I got into I had my managers. There were three guys. They was partners called Archie Lee Hill Production. Archie Russell, Leo Ostell, and Hillary Johnson. Those were my managers.
okay.
So when I first started doing, as a matter of fact, my first recording, which had Donny Hathaway on keyboard and had the emotions in the background,
What?
and that was when I had the managers, and I think I was with Expo recording label at that time, and then I got with Blue Rock Recording Company, which was a subsidiary of a Mercury Recording Company. And so, I recorded It Must Be Love, and I had the emotions in the background. And then I did, I'm in Your Corner, and had Donny Hathaway on keyboard.
I love that
Yeah.
song, by the way. It Must Be Love. That song be hitting to this day.
Oh, okay.
Song,
Yeah.
man, I'm trying to tell you, I was jamming to that. You know what I mean? Earlier, It Must Be Love. That's my
Right.
track now. It's in my playlist. Real talk now. Like,
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I looked it up. You know, thanks to you. Now that I knew I was going to interview you, obviously I looked up your music and things of that nature, and it was a lot of hits that I was already familiar with that I've heard at some point in my life, and I was like, wow, you know, that was him, huh? So that's always a great feeling, you know.
Right. Yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah, that's great to know. Yeah, exactly. And so they did two versions. They had one version of It Must Be Love without the background vocals, and then they had a version with the emotion.
Okay.
And so, but both of them is on the internet, you know. And I met a guy back about a few months ago at this club, and he come up and he wanted to buy one of my CDs, and he didn't know I was Roy Hytower. He thought because I was at that time I was Dr. Rhute Music. So, and he looked at the credits on the back, and he said, Roy Hytower. He said, you Roy Hytower? I said, yeah. He said, oh man, he said, I just bought one of your records, one of your 45s.
Yeah.
And he said, I paid $300 for it.
What?
I said, wow. Yeah, he said, I paid, yeah. He said, you know what I'm saying? I said, dog. Yeah. So he just bought it off the internet for $300.
That's crazy.
I said, I better check some things out. I'm getting cheated, you know.
I know, that's what it sounds like. Sound like some of that royalty should be coming right back to you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Rhute. Can you talk about this track right here? What was the when you wrote this song right here? Fugitive.
Okay. Oh, Fugitive. Now I was with Pop Stables company then. Pop Stables had a studio out on 103rd and right off of Michigan.
Okay.
And what happened, a guy named Henry Bush, they called him the Creeper. Henry Bush was an engineer down at Stax Record in Memphis. And when Stax closed down, Henry Bush came up here, and he was the engineer for Pop Stables. So I was doing so I wrote this song Fugitive, and we re-recorded it and put it together. And so by Henry Bush being from Memphis, when he went back to Memphis, he introduced the song to Isaac Hayes. So Isaac Hayes heard it and he fell in love with it. So they called me one night. It must have been about 11 o'clock one night. And he told me, he said, got, Isaac Hayes here on the phone. He said he loved a fugitive. He'd like to do it. So I said, okay, cool. It'd be an honor for him to do it, So, so then I never heard any more back from them.
Yeah.
And about 2 years later, I was out at Pop Stables with his son, Perp Stables. And we were just shooting the breeze, talking about old times. And the phone rang, and it was Henry Bush from Memphis. And so when he found out I was sitting in the office, and I got on the phone and was talking to him. So he asked me, he said, did you get some money from New York? And I said, no, why should I get some money from New York? He said, Isaac did your tune. And I said, well, I didn't know y'all were going to do it because y'all never did get back to me. And we never did finalize things and, sign the paperwork. So he said, yeah, we told you we were going to do it. And so you should have got some money back from her because it was on Polydor Records. So he told me what he said, it's on Polydor Records. And it's on the album called Lifetime Thing. So I went on, so I left there. I went out the street to this record store and I picked up the album. And sure enough, there's Fugitive. I like his version. He did a pretty nice job. Isaac did. I kind of like my version better, but but anyway.
Yeah, the
so
sequel never.
On this particular album, Isaac Hayes did a song by Curtis Mayfield, one of Curtis Mayfield's songs, and he did a song by Smokey Robinson, and he gave them their credits. But on Fugitive, he didn't give me my credit. He put his name and Henry Bush's name and left my name off. So I called him and said, well, what's going on? I say, my name not even in the credits as the writer. So he gave me this excuse about, well, it was a misprint and they didn't want to go back and redo the album cover and put your name on there and whatever. And so I said, well, man, that sounds kind of fishy.
Right.
When I called a publishing company, and I talked with a dude named Michael Tutorial. Actually, what I did, I called Polydor Records up in New York, and I didn't tell the guy what I really wanted, but I told him that I was involved in the recording. Did he have any information on Fuji? So he told me, he said, yeah, we got some information. I said, I appreciate it if you would send me some. So he sent me the lead sheet of Fugitive, which is normally you don't do. So he sent me the lead sheet, and on the lead sheet it says the writer of the music and the lyrics by Isaac Hayes, and had it copyrighted in 1983.
What?
So he had it copyrighted in his name. So, but just so happened I had mine copyrighted in 1973. So I already had copyrighted, So right. when I called the publishing company, Michael Tutorial, he said, well, the way they reported it to me, he said they gave Henry Bush a third, Isaac Lee Hayes took a third, and they gave you a third of the publisher. I said, but I'm the sole writer. I should get 100% of the writers. So he told me, he said, well, I advise you to, maybe get you a copyright lawyer, So, but the thing about it, I never did get a lawyer that really wanted to take the case because it wasn't on the Shaft album. It was on a different album, because all the lawyers said, was it on the Shaft album? I said, well, no, it was on an album called Lifetime Thing. So I guess they figured it wasn't enough money in it for them. But I got Shirley Dixon, Willie Dixon's daughter, down at Blues Heaven Foundation. She got interested in it because I was on the board of directors down there at Old Chest Recording Studio.
Okay.
Where they did Cadillac Records, So that was the recording company of let me see. This guy was it was two brothers, Leonard Chess and see what I remember Leonard Chess. He had a brother. It was two brothers. And they had the chess record. As a matter of fact, WVON was their radio station back then. They later on sold it to Perv Stable, but that was Leonard Chess. The Chess brothers owned WVON. But when they sold it to Perv, they wouldn't let him have the call letters, WVON. He had to use some other name. But I think after about 10 or 15 years, he finally got the call letter, WVON, you know. But anyway, his Willie Dixon's daughter was interested in getting my credits from Isaac Hayes. So Isaac Hayes came here because he wanted to buy this restaurant, Famous Dave. And so he came here. That's why he came here. He wanted to buy that restaurant, Famous Dave. So Shirley Dixon went to meet him and to confront him about my royalties. So at first he kind of played like he didn't remember the song. And she showed him the copyright. She showed him the paperwork. She showed him where I had the copyright. So he said, oh yeah. So, but what happened was they was negotiating on my writer's royalties. But then shortly after that, Isaac Hayes died. You know, yeah. So, but you never know, you know, you got to be, that's why this business is really 90% business, 10% entertainment, you know.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm very sorry to bring back, you know, some of those memories, but you know, you made a great record, and like you said, you know, you sounded better than, you know what I'm saying, because people never outdo the first, you know what I mean, let it be known. But so hey, I'm glad that you was able to tell your side of the story and tell the truth behind this record, The Fugitive, that was written by yourself and not originally by Isaac Hayes, the legend.
Yeah. And he did on the 45, he did put my name in the credits as the writers, but on the copyright sheet where he had it recopyrighted, that let me know he was trying to steal it, you know, because he had it copyrighted like he was the writer, you know. But it just so happened I had it copyrighted in 1973.
Right. Okay. Well, we're still always talking about music. This is one of your latest tracks that you have out right now. Can you talk about that?
Okay. Yeah, that particular CD, this is the first CD. I always wanted to do a project, just me and my guitar with no other musicians, you know. So this what this album represents. It's just me and my guitar. It's got about 2 or 3 guitar parts and some tambourine. But so I wrote all the songs and I recorded it as a solo act, you know. So it came out pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it. Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. So
you know, like I'm sorry, like I said, man, I was searching your Instagram, you know, I found so many great photos and, you know what I mean, things, you know, throughout history. So, you know, first I want to talk about this picture from representing this performance that you did in the series. Can you talk about this series that you played in on HBO?
Oh yeah, Lovecraft Country. Yeah, I went out to audition for that, and I got the part of Slick Willie, you know. So it's a funny little thing happened about that. We in the part of me, and it took 2 days of shooting, and so what happened is when they were shooting my part, the music part, that was this guy. So they had brought in all of the T-model cars back in the 40s and 50s, and so the whole set could look like back in the 40s and 50s. Right. And so they had cameras and equipment all over the place, all over this intersection where they had set up the bandstand. And this one apartment was kind of hard to get into because they had equipment and cameras everywhere. So this one guy that lived up on the 3rd floor, I don't know, I just figured they must have promised him something, cause by them being at his front door, and it's hard for him to get in and out of his apartment. So anyway, whenever we got ready to shoot my part and do the music, and as a matter of fact, the other two girls that were singing just before me, it was like, when we get ready to sing, put the music on, this guy would set up a big old speaker in his window up on the 3rd floor, and he would turn his music up. And so when they would get ready to shoot action, so the director was saying, where's that music coming from? What's happening? So they finally said, well, I think that's some guy up on the 3rd floor up there, you know. And so when we finally found out where the music was coming from, so they was trying to talk to him and tell him, said, well, look, we're trying to, you know, do a movie down here. So could you turn your music down? So he said, no, I ain't gonna do that. So I just figured, I said, well, they must have told him that they're gonna let him be a part of the music, something, because he was mad about it. And so we went back and forth for about an hour trying to get him to take his speaker out of the window. So they finally had to call the police. Right. So by the time the police got there, and looked like his old lady was coming to the window, we could see her coming. I looked like she was trying to encourage him to take his speaker out of the window, right? So anyway, that just was something that maybe people that's watching the episodes probably a little tidbit they really didn't know about, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. How'd you even get that part? You know, where did that come from? In reference to, you know, them asking, inviting you to be yourself.
Right.
I mean, to do what, you know, you had a part, you had a different name. What was it? Slick? What is it? Slick what?
Right.
Slick Willie. Right.
Yeah.
But you were doing something that you love. Like, you weren't just standing around. You weren't just on camera. You actually doing what you do. So.
Right. Doing the music. And I mean, it was a lot of fun. You know, and it's a funny thing, even though that part I'm in, it took 2 days of shooting, you know, because I did 3 different songs. But, you know, once they started editing, then in order for the movie to go, you know, to transition to different parts, they have to cut certain parts out so that it would go smoothly, you know. So, yeah, so it took 2 days of shooting because I did. Okay.
You all right? You got it?
The camera.
Everybody okay?
You didn't do that until you start talking about Lovecraft. So
yeah,
you know what that show is about.
I started talking about Lovecraft, and the camera jumped down on the floor. Ain't that crazy?
Well, here we're gonna take a little short break, and I want to show them some more footage of you. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to talk about this TV network that you was on after it plays. Check this out.
You know,
all right.
My father's root doctor, so I know all about the sassafras and
Do you use
Murdoch. Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, strict vegetarian.
Okay.
For 30 years. No animal product, period.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I have an understanding about that. Okay. But, you know, roots is tied in very closely with music, you see.
Okay. Explain to me.
Okay. Well, you know, just like roots stimulates organs of the body, cleanse the body, cleanse your bloodstream. Also does music notes. They say, for instance, the A note. It vibrates 440 times a second. You know, those vibrations, that's good for your eyes, ears, nose, that sort of thing.
Wow.
I've never heard anyone talk about anything like that in reference to how the notes affect your body. Because I really like what you were saying. I know that was a while ago when you was talking about that. But can you continue to leave off from where you left off in that video and just get a little deeper into indulge into exactly what all of that is with the music, notes, and the roots of our body? Like, what is that?
Yeah. See, those different vibrations, you know, like I say, they call it A440. So the A note, it vibrates 440 times a second. So the C note vibrates 523 times a second. But those vibrations are very important, you know, especially the frequencies. Cause when the frequencies change, your attitude change. You know, it just like, say for instance, if you hear something, if you hear sound, and if the frequencies, let's say, it's say for instance, the frequency is 50 times a second, okay, that might not move you so much. But if them frequencies is maybe say 440 times, you start patting your foot because the frequencies changes. They changes the way you feel. It's like a heartbeat, you know, you get to feeling good. And it works on animals. Animals love music, you know, they respond to it. Right. And anywhere you go, you can, if you're walking down the street, you see people on the bus, whatever, bobbing their head and waving their head and patting their foot. That's them vibrations, you know, that's those frequencies. And so frequencies is like intervals are very important. It depends on, it takes, like for instance, they got the triad, the first, the third, and the fifth of any scale. The first, the third, and fifth. Those intervals are very important because like if you're in the key of, say, C, well, when you go from C, you got E is the third step. So that's three intervals from C. That's very important. That means those two notes is going to be in harmony with each other. And that's the same way if you're in relationship with somebody. It depends on your vibration. If a person is vibing different from you, if just say for instance, if I'm vibing 440 times a second and my partner is vibrating 523 times a second, we're gonna get along together because them vibrations is in harmony. See, a lot of people don't know that. So when you pick, that's why maybe say a lot of people don't get along. The vibrations are different, you know. So it make a lot of difference, you know. Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's awesome, man. Thank you for getting you know, bringing that to our attention, because that's something to know, you know, and that's something like I say, I never heard. I've been here 40 years and never heard that before until I saw that video. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it gets deeper, but that's why you see people. I mean, you can, I don't care if you're sitting on the bus, if you walking down the street, you see people bouncing and bobbing their head and patting their foot. That's them frequencies, that's them vibrations, you know. And like say for instance, if you got a partner, and just say for instance, if you rubbing her hand, you know, if you rub it one time, and then you wait maybe 5 seconds, 5 minutes and rub it again, then wait another 5 minutes, rub a hand again, that might not do anything. But if you rub it maybe 3 times a second, that causes a little friction. So she's gonna respond to that. That's the frequencies. And if the frequencies are right, you know, that's the same thing with, I don't care, like when you start your car up, you get them frequencies up to a certain level for your engine to warm up, you know. Yeah. Frequencies are very important.
Man, absolutely. I totally agree. You know what I mean? When it comes to, and you know, I know we run out of time, but I got a couple more questions for you. I really appreciate you. And again, for everyone that's still watching this interview, we really appreciate your patience and time and sticking in with us and everything like that. Please continue to share this video. You know, again, I Said in Management is this is a platform that brings you the best interviews from entertainment to business to the community. Now, with that being said, what are some of your goals that you would like to do, you know, after a man that has accomplished so much and it seems like you've done it all? You know what I mean? What else would you like to do?
Well, you know, bowling is one of the things that I do also. And so I've been bowling, I guess a good 50 years. And I do a lot of tournaments.
Okay.
I've won about 5 tournaments, you know. I won the Jacoby tournament up in '99 in Taurus. that bowling alley up there on 99 and Torrance.
Right.
They had a tournament years ago called the Jacoby tournament. I won the tournament. I won the doubles. I won the singles. And then I traveled to Cincinnati and bowling the Honky Classic. I go to Detroit and bowl in the Hamtramck. So I bowl in a lot of tournaments. So I do that, you know. And the reason why I didn't really turn pro, because that took me away from my music. So my music was the main thing, you know. So basically that just did. I'm kind of semi-retired. And so I'm you know, as a matter of fact, on December the 4th, I'm doing an album with Freddie Dixon, Willie Dixon's son. He's doing a new blues album. So I'm gonna do some guitar work for him, you know.
Okay. Some exclusive news. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You heard it first right here.
Yeah. So I have a lot of fun bowling, you know. So I don't know if you ever heard of Billy Branch. Sometime I get together with Billy Branch. He's a harmonica blues player. We get together sometime, go bowling, you know, just kind of killing some time and whatnot, you know. So I got bowling rings, got 300 rings, 299 ring. 300 is the most score you can get, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So with that being said, you know, you have people that are just considered winners, you know what I'm saying? You know, I can never use the name or the term Michael Jordan enough, you know what I mean? Because people really refer to that as when it comes to GOAT status, greatness, you know what I mean? What do you consider greatness? Because everything you're saying, like, you know what I mean? How is it that from the time that you started music, you've been great at every single thing you've done. When it comes to the screen, the big screen, you've been great. When it comes to in the theater, you've been great. You know what I mean? So what is it that you feel like that gives you or makes you been able to, you know, still continue to be so great and consistent in whatever you do and competitive?
Yeah, I'm a type of guy that love perfection, you know, and I do my homework. I practice a lot, you know. I practice, and I think one of the things that I look for, and one of the things that make me successful, is when I come off stage and somebody tell me, say, "Hey man, I never heard anything like that before. That really made my day." Then that's success for me. It's not being a millionaire or none of that, or is that if I'm really perfecting my job and communicating to people what I feel, you know what I mean? They understand where I'm coming from. You know, people say, "Wow, well, who wrote that song? What were you thinking when you wrote that?" See, that means more to me than just getting the record played on the radio station, because I'm actually communicating to another person and they relate to what I'm saying. They relate to why I even wrote the song. Because sometimes, Julie, when I write a certain song, certain project, I got a certain market in mind that I'm trying to reach. See what I'm saying? I might be blues, it might be R&B, it might be rock and roll, but whatever genre I'm using, I got a market in mind. Because a lot of times DJs will say, "We don't know what to do with your music, or we don't know what it is. We don't know if it is blues or is it." I say, it's just music. I'm just communicating. Just play it and enjoy it. You know, that's the best. Yeah. So yeah, that's the main thing with me is perfection. To me, is people understanding my work, can relate to it, and you know, I can reach somebody, and somebody can say, "Hey man, I remember when that song, when I heard that, that was okay, so and so and so and so," you know. Yeah.
That's excellent, man. Excellence. You are Black excellence, man. You know what I mean? And I'm very proud and grateful to have, you know what I mean, all the celebrities that's been on this show, man. Just excellent history, man. And this one picture I want to throw up now. On your Instagram, I read what this man said to you the first time he saw you. Could you repeat what he said to you that you said the first time when y'all reunited right here?
Right, because we used to. The last time I saw him, we did the blues festival together at the Petrilla Band Shell. And I hadn't seen him in maybe 15 years. We did a show together up in Canada. Then we did a show at the Patrilla Band Shell. So I had just came back from Australia. And so we've done at Legends Buddy Guy. And so he came up and he didn't recognize me at first because we hadn't seen each other so long. So he told one of the guys that worked there, he said, damn, said, that guy's good. Who is that? And so when he came to the stage, he said, shit, Roy, where the hell you been? You know. No, I said, I was in Australia. And when I was down there, I saw that you had been there too. He said, yeah, man. He said, that long airplane ride is something else. I said, yeah, but anyway, yeah. So I used to do a lot of work with but the guy back on 43rd Street at Peppers. That's where I first met him at, you know. So we've been kind of off and on crisscrossing each other from way back then, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, buddy guy. Yeah. Exactly. I didn't know you had that clip. That's something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did a little homework.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you thorough too. Yeah.
Hey, man, let it be known, man. I really appreciate you, man, being on this show today as a special invited celebrity guest. You know what I mean? This is like our 11th episode, man. You know what I mean? We're very grateful. Every guest we have. I have to shout out one of my past guests, the legendary Cheryl Cooley, guitarist from Climax. You know, since I'm looking at all the guitars and you're a famous guitarist yourself, you know, I got to shout her out too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, she's one of the past guests. So thank you, everybody that was tuned in today. Man, you all definitely need to continue to support Mr. Rhute.
Thank my daughter Trees for setting up the studio for us. Because, you know, we tried this last week and it didn't quite go quite well. So when I called her, she said, yeah, Dad, I'll hook you up.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You were supposed to be here.
If it wasn't for you, you know, we wouldn't be able to make this happen. I want to be able to see your dad today.
Well, I'm always happy to
show him off to all my audience. So again, I really appreciate you all for tuning in today. Thank you so much, Dr. Rhute.
Okay, appreciate it. We have fun.
Yeah, man, I really had fun, you know, listening to all your stories. And, you know, please keep in touch. And, you know, I'm actually gonna be hitting you up because I want to set you up for something else, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna be contacting you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, but with that being said, would you like to leave the audience with anything else that maybe I didn't perhaps ask you about that you would like to speak about?
I'm gonna do a little bit of
Perfect.
Hey, hey, hey. I fell in love with the woman on the website. She downloaded some love from me. It took 1,000,000 megabytes. Ooh, that's a lot of loving. She sent to me on the internet. I'm so glad we were surfing. Otherwise, we never would have met. She said, I'm gonna be right here online. Email me any old time. Just dial LOVE.com. Can't get enough of that cyber loving. But the woman on the website, she downloaded some kisses. It took 1,000,000 gigabytes. Ooh, that's a lot of kisses. She sent to me on the internet. I'm so glad we were surfing, y'all, cause otherwise we never would have met you. She said, come and visit my website again, cause I'm having so much fun. Just dial LOVE. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, greatness, greatness. I'm so glad that you actually performed that song because it definitely made me think of like, man, was he the first person to make a song about the internet and love? Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Is that
Yeah. Yeah, because a
when did
lot
you record?
that's why
What
a lot
year?
of people they say, oh man, what was you thinking when you wrote that one? Because I try to look at life and write about real life experiences, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. What year did you write that? Or what's
Oh, let me see. That was back, oh man. What year that was? Huh?
That has to be 2000, 2001,
Yeah, that had to be around 2001, 2002. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cause see, when I went to Kennedy King College, I took computer programming. You know, I wish I had stuck with it. But back then, when I was taking computer programming, they had these great big old monster uh, computers was looked like big old TVs. You know,
Right.
so I wasn't really. I just wanted to learn how to program, do computer programming. You know, so I took a little basic and C language and all of that. So I knew some of the jargon about the computer. So that's how I got the idea to just put the song together, you know.
Right. Hey,
Yeah.
brilliant idea, man.
Mhm.
You're a brilliant dude,
Yeah.
and man, it's been a pleasure to have you here on the show. Like I say, Mr. Rhute, Dr. Rhute Music, and you can find more at drrhute.com. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. They can just Google Doktu Root Music, or they can Google Roy Hightower because that name is still out there too, you know. And
Right.
I got all of my music is on Spotify and all of the internet radio stores and so forth, you know. And I
Yeah,
want to thank you. You've been a great host, and you had some dynamite questions, man. That was great.
man. Much love. Salute,
Yeah,
man. Much love.
right on. Right.
Thank you so much,
Um,
man. Um,
okay.
and
Thank
man,
you.
you always welcome. Hit me up
Oh,
anytime. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the show out with a couple more pictures and clips of you, and then
right.
my final and then I end it with my introduction too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
That was
I
a great introduction you did too. Yeah.
most definitely love appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Blessings to you too, Latrice, and your whole family.
Thank you, Michael. You too.
Love, peace.
He would do something. Then he would add another note in that chord. Because the more notes you put in that chord, it makes your platform broader, wider for you to do your melody.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're talking about Nat King Cole right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he does
So
them.
now he would use this chord. Instead of like that, he would go, that's more jazzy, and it's another note, you add another note in there.
Right, let him have it. Coochie, man. Roy, are you ready? Right. Got my mojo working, but it just don't work on me. Got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. I wanna love you so bad, don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I said it, deport it. I support it. I said deport it.
And I support the legendary warriors all day long.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yo, it's the originator Jazzo, y'all. Make this real quick, man. Shout out to Isaidit Management. Doing it big.
Appreciate you.